We are going to discuss, did they need Isak as well as Ekitike? We're going to get into that debate inside Liverpool next. Hello again, we're inside Liverpool tonight. Now, when the British transfer record was smashed on deadline day, nobody thought we'd be here more than 3 months later, still waiting for Alexander Isak's first Premier League goal for Liverpool. So now there are real questions. Why isn't he performing? Why sign the Swede when Hugo Ekitike had already signed? And can two number 9s play together? Well, Jamie Carragher and the former Liverpool striker Emile Heskey have very different views.
Who does play with two strikers? You look at Manchester City with Erling Haaland. They had another striker, Alvarez, who was a World Cup winner. What is one of the best strikers in the world? It didn't work. They had to sell him to Atletico Madrid in the end. And now they've got Marmoush. He's on the bench.
I'd argue that case because, again, when you're a footballer, your main role is to figure out your teammates as well and figure out how to play with each other. I remember I played with Michael, I played with Wayne, I played with Robbie, I played with Alan Shearer. So I played with several different types of forwards.
It's difficult the way the game is now with so many bodies in midfield to have players who play right up the top end of the pitch. Now there's talk about Ekitike, he could play to the left. I thought that might be an option. I hadn't seen him play for the left, but that many people were saying it. I thought, well, okay, maybe the manager will use that option. He hasn't really. And he's been fantastic through the middle. That's his position.
You can't just think because you've spent this much that you're going to go automatically. You've got to show. You've got to show it. The lad showed it already. So for me, you've got to try and dislodge him. And I think he's done fantastic. But if they want to play up front together, I think they could. I think they could perform a partnership.
I'm just really interested to see how Liverpool manage that situation between the two of them going forward. I don't think it's a problem in the next few weeks, but over sort of the next 18 months, who actually becomes Liverpool's first choice striker, and does the other one accept being, you know, a backup to the other one or play when they're injured?
Do you see him as maybe playing wide just to accommodate Isak, or?
He would have won that would be feeling hard done by, especially after coming there doing really well and then being, oh, you're going to play out here, you're going to play there. But he's a young lad who will probably just want to enjoy playing. But really and truly, he should be the number 9, and then others have to try and dislodge him.
I think it's probably a little bit easier if you sign a striker for half the money of Isak, like to leave him on the bench, or he's not as big a name. We know that. And but yeah, listen, Liverpool, they get a lot of plaudits for how they go about things in the transfer market, and rightly so. The record's fantastic. So it'll be interesting how they navigate this one.
It will be interesting. Two very contrasting opinions there, David. Mm-hmm. Right, have Liverpool got two players who can play together, or have they bought a very expensive sub?
I think they can play together. I think that what the guys hadn't touched on there, although he did come in one of the just a cameo role in one of the bits of footage, is Cody Gakpo, because Cody Gakpo last season was essentially a sort of in and out player. He's had a lot of game time this season. He's had the most shots for Liverpool this season as well. And when Arne's favouring Cody to start, and I know the Isak issue is about fitness, then it kind of compromises the potential to put the two on at the beginning together.
But if you play them together, what are you Mike Bassett? Is it 4-4-2?
No. See, the one thing I used to love about Liverpool, I mean, obviously this is pre-Arne, was the fact that you would have three attacking players who could rotate. And if you're a defender, and I'm surprised Jamie didn't pick up on it there, but if you're a defender having to mark different players at any given moment in the game, then it's causing a lot of confusion. And I think with Isak and Ekitike in particular, there is that opportunity to have that fluidity. With Mo Salah as well, there's a little bit less, of course, because he's more dominant on the right. But yeah, I think there is a potential there with good coaching, good understanding of what the players expecting to do with the coach's thoughts. Then Liverpool will be very difficult to play against with 3 or 4 fit attacking players. Okay, fit. That's the word I want to pick up on. Fitness always helps.
Yeah. Now you touched on this a bit earlier. Isak, of course, didn't have a proper pre-season. Mm-hmm. Should Liverpool fans be worried of how slow his start has been?
No, and again, it's so difficult at the moment because we are in this instant reaction sort of lifestyle, which is fine, and football fans are entitled to have their opinion and feelings as they see fit. But with a long-term strategy, there is a part where the club would say, okay, well, let's make sure he has to be fully fit at some point. And when that happens, we will be getting a better version of the Isak than possibly Newcastle had. And if you've got a better version of that alongside a better version of Ekitike, then again, Liverpool will be in a position where they are challenging and beating pretty much everyone.
Oh, all right. Let's go back to Anfield then. Let's go back to Vinny O'Connor and James Pearce, who were there. Well, Vinny, you probably just heard David James there. He's pretty clear that Isak and Ekitike can play together, but has Arne Slot got a problem somewhere down the line?
I think Mike and myself and James have just been talking about it as well. Jamie Carragher said not so long ago that Arne Slot almost has to be like a Real Madrid head coach in the way he's got to piece things together, particularly with that forward line. And David James touched on it there as well, the fact that Mo Salah, Cody Gakpo already here, Ekitike and Alexander Isak have come in as Florian Wirtz to put into that picture as well, don't forget as well. And it's how you get them all working together and build those relationships that will see Liverpool effective in the final third of the field. I think if there's a frustration among the two number nines, if you like, that Liverpool have got at the moment, it'll be from Alexander Isak, purely because of the fact that he's not been able to get himself out on the pitch. He had that, as we mentioned, the pre-season before he was drip-fed into the Liverpool starting lineup. And then, of course, he picked up the injury against Eintracht Frankfurt. As for Hugo Ekitike, well, it's an interesting one as well. I think he feels that he's made for Liverpool, really. And you get the impression from that, the way he is about the place, the impression that he's made. Don't forget, it's a nice little stat about him as well that he was laughing about. The fact that his first 6 goals in a Liverpool shirt came on different days of the week. The one he's missing at the moment is a Thursday, which he could probably do in the new year as well. So the impression that I get from him as well when we talk about the competition for places is something that doesn't faze him either. Don't forget, this is someone who joined a PSG team that already had Messi, Neymar and Kylian Mbappe there as well. So James, that obviously doesn't worry him. I think he's made a similar favourable impression on yourself when you met him as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. He's without a shadow of a doubt, he's been the pick of all the summer signings so far. He's, when players come to Liverpool, and especially it is a step up coming from Eintracht Frankfurt in the way he did, that you think, well, how are they going to handle the pressure, the scrutiny and expectation that comes with playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world? But he's taken it all in his stride, and the fans have certainly taken him to their hearts as well. And you can see how he kind of buzzes off that relationship that's there already. I think it's helped him as well that obviously, he's got that bond with Ibrahima Konate from the French national team, and I know Konate kind of helped him find a house, and he's moved into Luis Diaz's old house just up the coast a little bit from here. And yeah, I think the big thing when I watch him play Ekitike is he's got that swagger that he just feels like, I belong here. And so far, he's shown everything you could possibly wish to see from him. He looks the absolute complete package.
We touched on it earlier as well, and we should highlight Florian Wirtz in that forward line because it hasn't happened for him so far. But I don't think he's been helped. I don't think the rest of the forward line have been helped by the injuries that we spoke about earlier. McAllister has not been at full throttle for much of this season. I think that's impacted that midfield three. We've seen Dominic Szoboszlai shunted out to right back at times as well. I feel that if Florian Wirtz is going to work in a midfield three, then you need that energy from Dominic Szoboszlai in there as well. And building those relationships that you touched on earlier has been so important, and that's possibly where Liverpool have struggled at times.
Yeah, that's definitely been one of those kind of ongoing issues that Arne Slot is wrestling with. You mentioned there in the middle of the park especially, but you could focus on the wide areas as well. Milos Kerkez at left back had a really difficult opening few months to his Liverpool career. Young player, a bit of a baptism of fire, but I'm sure he'll come back strong on the other flank. A lot of chopping and changing at right back. It's only really been in the last few weeks that Connor Bradley, who missed a chunk of pre-season, has got up to speed. So there's just been that kind of instability that hasn't helped people like Florian Wirtz in terms of really carving out a niche for themselves so far. And the big thing now is Liverpool desperately need Isak to push on because he's not. You look at his age, 26 years. 26 years of age, Premier League proven. He just hasn't been able to get out there and do himself justice so far. But get Isak fit and firing, and Liverpool will be a different proposition.
And one further point to make about Hugo Ekitike and Alexander Isak. Ekitike said to us that both he and Isak will drive each other on. That doesn't sound like someone who feels he can't work with Alexander Isak.
It absolutely doesn't. And we can work with you two. Thank you. Marks, but was Isak and Ekitike always the plan?
So Liverpool's transfer strategy and the plan on May the 1st would have been different to July the 1st, to August the 1st, to deadline day. Now, ultimately, what they would have wanted at the end of the window when it slammed shut would be to have two top-class strikers at the football club. This is Liverpool. Their expectation will be to play 55 to 60 games because they'll be expecting to go deep in the Champions League and deep in cup competitions. Could one striker play 58 games in a season? No. They'd have to share the load. They'd always want two top-class strikers.
But one of them would be number one and one would be number two. Who is it at the moment? And they're not going to want... He, for 125 million quid, isn't going to want to be number two, is he?
No, but also... You have to look at his injury record and remember he needs to be monitored and looked after and protected. Look at Hugo Ekitike for France in the international break. What did he do? Against the Ukraine, come off the left-hand side, scored a goal. Can he play on the left-hand side? Absolutely. Can he play alongside Isak? Definitely. These are two players that will be huge players for Liverpool over the course of this season. Can they play together? Do they also need to be protected? Are they going to have to chop and change? That's what Arne Slot has got to do, because Liverpool are one of the top clubs in the country and in European football, and you're going to have to rest and protect and look after these players because the intensity of the Premier League is so great that it's impossible for players to play 58 games, 55 games. So it's always about the team, it's always about the squad, and it's always about making sure everyone's happy, and these two will be happy at the end of the season.
We will see.
Mark my words.
I will. When we come back, we're going to talk Mohamed